What is happening, people? Welcome to my Formula One channel. Welcome to Peter on Pole. My name is Peter in pole position, people. What a qualifying session that was. I mean, what a cluster. What a cluster it was. Thank you for joining me this evening. Wow, I'm sure this is probably the first qualifying session where you wanted to just say, thank God it's over. Because my goodness, it took a long time to get ahead of this weekend's Grand Prix start, and yet we were absolutely, I don't even understand what happened, what took place. How many red flags do we want in a Grand Prix session? How many red flags do we want? It was probably the most bizarre one. And Imola, what's going on? Why are you raining? Why are you raining today? It did cause some stir. It did cause a bit of a how can I put it? Some drama, if you will. They added a bit of drama into that session there. And really and truly, I just don't quite know what on earth has actually happened, But Max Verstappen, the breaking news, of course, Max Verstappen is on pole position ahead of the sprint race that is taking place tomorrow afternoon on Saturday in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Let me know your comments down below. What were you thinking ahead of the weekend? Remember, I did my preview earlier this morning, because I just remembered, of course, that this weekend was a sprint weekend. But yes, Max Verstappen, ladies and gentlemen, on pole position. Charles Leclerc in second place. Lando Norris P3. Big up to all the McLarens and around town if you're there. P3 for Lando Norris. Imagine both McLarens into Q3. How about that, huh? How about that? Both McLarens into Q3. Kevin Magnussen. I mean, there's so much stuff to talk about here. Kevin Magnussen as well, P4. Let me get your comments down below. I mean, it's great to see him back in Formula One, and it's like he's never left. Now, don't get me wrong. This was a very sketchy qualifying session for many reasons, right? But nonetheless, he's got himself into the top four. Fernando Alonso, huh? Just when you were doubting people, just when the people were doubting, Fernando Alonso, of course, in P5 as well. I mean, what a hectic one. Mercedes out in Q2. Both Mercedes. What? Did they listen to what I had to say the other day about them not being out of this title race? About them actually being here? I cannot believe what on earth has taken place. Huh? Unbelievable scenes. Unbelievable scenes. Mercedes not making it into Q3 is a howler. It is a howler. A huge howler. But as Tazim is saying right here, big up yourself, Tazim. How many red flags do we want? Huh? How many red flags do we want? Comment down below. Keep putting on the live chat, people. I'll be posting all of your comments up here. Anything you've got to say about qualifying today, please feel free, because I need to know your thoughts. I want to know what on earth you thought of that qualifying session. Unbelievable stuff. I genuinely cannot believe what has taken place tonight or, this evening. But yeah, the red flags were way too much. Now, all those red flags ruined Charles's quali. Yes. There was no real rhythm, was there? You couldn't really get the rhythm going in terms of the qualifying sessions. And even some of the, some of those yellow flags that were coming, you're watching somebody do a flying lap, like say Max Verstappen. I remember he did like a purple sector 1. He was in sector 2, and all of a sudden, yellow flag. And he's having to lift. And it's like, come on, But yeah, the red flags did ruin it. They definitely ruined it. At the end of the session, right, I was just glad to see this session over. I don't know about you guys. And I've not felt like that in Formula One in a very long time. Never have I wanted Formula One to just finish. Now, bear in mind, I was watching qualifying in the office today, and I was like, okay, come on, let's finish this up. I can get home, set up the stream, and we get going. But it just took forever, absolutely. Tazim says Mercedes might actually be finished. I can't believe I'm saying this on the week of me saying they're not out of this title race. Do not sleep on Mercedes. They are going to be back. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. Imagine on the week I'm saying that, and both of them go out in Q2 and in the wet. You see, if Mercedes needed any more luck, if they needed anything more to inspire them, Lewis in the wet, this man is prime for that sort of action, right? And yet, what did we get? What is going on at Mercedes? Can somebody comment, please? Can you lot tell me? Can you lot talk to me? What is going on at Mercedes? I feel like such an idiot. I've got egg on my face right now. Now, listen, I'm not going to jump and say, listen, it's over. Tazim's saying, look, they might actually be finished. Now, You could be right, Tazim. You could be right. I'm not entirely sure now, and I don't want a qualifying session to make me feel, like this and make me think, just sort of go over the top, right? But let me know your comments down below. Are Mercedes finished? Is it over? Is it over? Tazim said, but they just probably have a heavy setup bias towards the race. You never know. It's all about being able to finish, isn't it? That is what it's about. It's about finishing the race. Ask Red Bull, It's about finishing the race, ladies and gents, and that's what's going to get you some points. I beg to differ. I mean, it's Imola, first and foremost. Tight, narrow circuit. It's quick. The sprint race, by the way, if you thought qualifying was anything to go by in terms of red flags, guys, get ready for the sprint race. You are going to be in for it. We're going to have a long, long afternoon in the sprint race. But man, let me know your comments down below, people, on what you thought about, the qualifying today, the cluster that it was, right? And smash the like button, of course, if you like Formula One content like this. Big up to Trevor. Second row for Lando Norris. You don't know. Now let's talk it, man. Talk it. Say it to me again. Say it to me again. Second row for Lando Norris for the second round in a row. Maybe that poor Bahrain start for McLaren was just an outlier. Interesting. We can always rely on Lando Norris, doing something in that McLaren, no matter what kind of shape it's in. I could always trust Lando Norris. The same with Mahad as well. Big up to Mahad, of course. Also part of this channel, McLaren Fan TV. Every Tuesday, we'll be back here this Tuesday, by the way. All McLaren people out there, back this Tuesday at 7 p.m. But yes, two second rows in a row. Maybe, I don't know. It's difficult to judge because I'll tell you what, Trevor, every time, Lando's done something, there is a bit of a caveat, isn't there? There's always like, maybe it was because of this, or maybe it's because of that. This wet weather, did it suit McLaren? Maybe, I don't really, because look, Daniel Ricciardo did good as well, by the way. What did he start? P6. He starts P6 tomorrow. So he's not done bad at all. So, let's see how it goes. I hope you're right, Trevor. I hope you're right. But man, the minute I start bigging up McLaren is the time when everything starts to go Pete Tong. We got to Hugo. Mercedes is done, he says. He or she says, Hugo says Mercedes is done. Comment below, guys. What do you reckon? Is Hugo telling the truth? Is Mercedes done? Huh? Is he done? Is he done in these streets? Because I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I mean, listen, this is the weirdest qualifying probably to date, right? In terms of this season. Sebastian Vettel, people, in Q3. Did you hear me? Sebastian Vettel at Imola in Q3. And like in the early sessions of qualifying, like the first like five minutes or so, and you're seeing like Vettel P1, then Stroll P1. I'm sitting there like, the Aston Martin at the top? No, come on. It can't happen. It can't happen. So listen, I'm just saying this is a weird qualifying session. So that I include Mercedes in that because them both being out in Q2 was bizarre. And I don't believe it to just be, that's the be all and end all. I don't necessarily agree. Mercedes can't be done. It can't be done. Trevor says points are handed out tomorrow and Sunday, so we'll see. But it's not looking good for Merck. It doesn't look good. I can't deny that. It doesn't look good. That is true. But man, oh man, oh man. It's still one of those things. It's early days, I made the argument, yesterday during the week about Mercedes not being out of this title race because I genuinely believe that. And if you've got a reliable car, a car, well, let me say a car that, it gets to the end of the race, you're always within a chance, right? You've always got a chance. And, Red Bull can have the pace, but they don't necessarily always finish the race. And that's the most important thing, isn't it? First is to finish. And then, you got Ferrari where everything looks perfect. The package is there, right? And what have I been saying, guys? I've been telling you, what can go wrong will go wrong with Ferrari. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith every time I'm going to use that one. The Dallas Cowboys, people of the Formula One circuit. Because what did Carlos Sainz do today? What did Carlos Sainz do today, people? Huh? the pressure's on. Imagine this, right? Ferrari announced that Sainz's contract is extended. It's like happy days. We're happy with his performance, and then that happens the week after. By the way, what happened to him in Melbourne, and now we're having this in Imola. I'll tell you what, guys. Comment down below, man. What's your thoughts on Ferrari at the moment? What's your thoughts on everything? Talk to me about the qualifying session. What on earth did you love? What did you hate? What are the talking points? What do you think we should be discussing? Big up to Jay Starship. You don't know what's happening. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. Why did Lando spin off? I'm actually confused. Yeah, it's a bit weird. You know, I don't know, because I tried to look and see if it was like the white line. You know, like everybody was on that white line and it was a bit messy. So you didn't know whether or not that was what's kind of taking people out. I'm not entirely sure. What happened there. It's a strange one. It has to be said. It's a very, very strange one. But, you know, P3, I'll take it. Let me tell you that right now. I'll take it. It's been 3 races. Come on, guys. I guess you're talking about the Mercedes talk, right? People saying it's done. You know, Tazim is fed up. You know, Hugo saying it's done. I agree with you, Jay. I agree with you. I think it's way too early. You know, I did like a rant the other day about it because more so because I was hearing it from Mercedes fans. You know, Mercedes fans were the ones who were talking about title's done, it's over, we can't do this no more, it's finished. And I was there like, what are people talking about? Huh? They're second in the constructors with everything that's going on, right? With how terrible their year has been, they are second in the constructors. So why should I doubt them? I don't think I should. Not yet, anyway. And that's a great question, Jay. What is going on with Carlos Sainz? Any Ferrari people in the building today? What is going on with Carlos Sainz? Now, you know, again, the accident, it didn't seem like it was, he didn't have it under control. It looked like he made a mistake. You know, is it rookie mistake? Is it pressure? They're in Italy. You know, Ferrari are back there and, you know, it's one of those ones. I think he kind of, I'd say he let the team down because, you know, you could probably forgive him for Australia, you know, because he's not really made mistakes since he's been at Ferrari. He's not really a driver that makes mistakes, in fairness, right? And I've had him at McLaren, right? So he's been a very competent driver. But something isn't right. And the thing is, from the minute the season kicked off, by the way, I don't know about you guys, he's been a little bit moany. You know, even if he's in the top 2 or the top 3, he's a bit like, yeah, you know, we had a hard weekend. It was this, it was that. And I kind of paid attention to that. With the moaning he was doing, I thought, you know, I'm not going to ignore that. I'm going to keep that in the back burner just in case, because it smelt fishy to me. And normally, let's say when he was at McLaren, he wasn't like that. Not that I remember anyway. You know, comment below if you think I'm chatting rubbish there and remind me of something, right? But Carlos Sainz, man, I'm not understanding what's going on. I don't know. He kind of needs to regroup. I thought, you know, the 2 weeks away, brilliant. And what was funny was when they announced that he had an extension contract, right? I did think to myself, hang on a minute. Hang on just a second. Why have they brought out this news now? You know, the day before quali, you've got like 1, 2, you know, you got one practice session, then quali, then tomorrow I think they get a practice session, don't they? And then it's the sprint race. Weird timing from Ferrari. Very weird timing. Hold tight, Hardstar 92. He had done it a couple of times already, but I do think that one was on purpose. Are you talking about Lando Norris? Are you talking about Carlos Sainz? What are you talking about in terms of doing it on purpose? Yeah, it was an absolute cluster. Trevor says, bunch of drivers have a lot of motivation to move up the grid during the sprint race tomorrow. Oh, absolutely. The sprint race is going to be very, very interesting. That start is going to be very, very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the sprint race unfolds, because you just know if the weather is as it was as well today, guys, you just can see it's going to be an absolute mess. It's going to be an absolute cluster, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to it, mate. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what your thoughts are. Who do you think is going to nick that one as well? I think Max Verstappen might go here. You know, I think he might just ride off into the sunset. I don't think Leclerc will give him that much of a challenge. I don't believe so. But we can't rule it out. You know, the car is fantastic. It's really, really good. I didn't want to say it out loud, but it looked very strange. Is this the Lando Norris one? Yeah, I think you guys are trying to stick it to Lando Norris. Leave Lando alone, okay? When Charles Leclerc did it at Monaco, I didn't hear it last year, did I? No, I'm only joking, people. I'm only joking. But yeah, it was strange. You can't really put your finger on it why he binned it. Also, I don't know about you guys, right? But some of like the red flags, were they necessary? Were they necessary? Like when Bottas pulls over to the side, I'm thinking, oh, for goodness sake, Valtteri, just get the car back in the pits if you can, right? Do we just need to throw a red flag at everything? I don't know. The car was perfectly stationed into the grass. Yeah, maybe you might have, it might have caused an accident going forward. Maybe, who knows? And especially Imola, a circuit, sort of unfortunately has been known for some fatalities, right? But you sort of think to yourself, man, what is with the red flags? Why are we just throwing them out? Was it necessary? Comment down below. Do you not think some of those red flags could have just stayed, yellow, slow your speed, crack on, green flag, off we go? I don't know. Shout out to Spike. What's happening, man? Carlos let us down today, man. I'm sorry. You don't bin it in Q2. Especially as, he was comfortably into Q3, wasn't he? And he qualifies P10. Yeah, strange. Something's not right with Carlos Sainz, I believe. He's had a very, very weird start to the season. And you would think he would actually be a lot more happier than he has been in recent years. But very, very odd. Hardstar replies to Jay saying, I followed Lando since he joined McLaren, but I do think that last one was slightly on purpose. Didn't think he meant to hit his front wing. Well, people are saying in the chat that, Lando Norris might have done a little cheeky, I'm surprised. I'm a bit surprised if that's the case. Trevor says Carlos didn't even need that second push lap. The track was only getting worse. Yeah. It's it's a very strange one. Carlos Sainz is going to be one that's going to be spoken of. And the thing is, of course, to all the Ferrari fans out there, especially Italian fans, Italian Ferrari fans, that pressure is going to be red hot on Carlos Sainz, isn't he? He's going to be red hot on him. He's not going to, they're not going to let him lie, And, I'm sure for the Ferrari gang, not to have an Italian sort of driving in their car is one thing. To have, okay, he's not French, but Monegasque, and then you've got a Spaniard in there, unless you're going to provide the wins, they'll be quick. They'll be quick to turn. They'll be quick to turn and say, look, we're not having this. We're not having this at all. Metal in both legs says, though, lost my £5. Cheers. Listen, who did you put money on? Huh? Ferrari? You can't put money on Ferrari in Italy. They crumble. They crumble. Okay, I said this from how long? What can go wrong with Ferrari will go wrong. Only because I just don't believe they can handle the pressure. I just don't believe it this year. But anyway, there goes your fiver, mate. Shout out to Trevor. Sprint means the race is short enough for Max to finish. Yeah, facts. Facts, yeah? It's absolutely right. Max Verstappen will have enough in the tank to get him through and to win that one at least, Absolutely hilarious bants. Jay Starship says, I have been paying attention to Carlos since the beginning of the season. He is complaining quite a lot about the team. Yeah, I agree. It's just weird. Like, if he was Lewis Hamilton, Russell, maybe even Ricardo, you could forgive him, right? You could probably forgive him and be like, yeah, everyone kind of agrees with you, Carlos. But Ferrari this year, they look good. It looks like the real deal. So why are you moaning now? Is it because you're not winning races? Is the pressure mounting onto him? This man has never won a race before, right? So is the pressure mounting onto him? Do Ferrari sort of look at that and think, hang on a minute, we need to pull this trigger now and get Charles Leclerc as the number one driver, and just let's not even have a conversation with Carlos. Carlos, you're like the Kimi Raikkonen right now, the Valtteri Bottas at Ferrari. We were thinking about it before, weren't we, early in the season, and we thought, nah, it's too soon. We can't be talking like that. It's too soon. Lo and behold, people, what are we seeing from this man? Huh? Yeah. Oh, those red flags were too much, says Jay. Absolutely, they were. I thought they were. I genuinely thought they were. I get safety. I'm all for safety, but let us go. If it's not that risky, let us go. They're Formula One drivers at the end of the day. People with super licenses, people that know how to drive, right? So let's see. Hostile says, I put a fiver on Norris before practice to win the race on Sunday. He was 150 to 1. I know the Rari and RB are quick, but he starts in a nice position tomorrow. I tell you what, Hardstar, it doesn't look too bad, does it? And if it's 150 to 1, it's worth a punt. That is worth a punt. You know what I mean? And you stuck a fiver on it. Nice. You know, let's see. If the rain continues, believe me, there will be clusters. It will be an absolute wacky races show tomorrow and Sunday possibly, right? It will be wacky races 101. This race is not going to be simple. It's not going to be average, which I think we like. We want that, don't we? We want a bit of excitement, right? We don't want, Australia was cool. Like, it was cool to have it back, but it was kind of one of them ones when it came for racing, it was a bit, And in on the McLaren Fan TV show that we had last week, Tuesday or the week before, and Mahad was saying, it's going to be a boring race. Qualifying is what counts, and then we'll see, how the race goes. I think literally, like, it's going to cause a bit of mayhem here. Now we've got a bit of spice. Now we've got a little bit more going on there. I mean, the Mercedes, where they are, will Mercedes get points this weekend? Real question. Will they get points this weekend? And I mean significant. I'm not talking, 5 points or like 10 between the two. How many points will they get in total is really the question. It's going to be absolutely hilarious, honestly. So I'll start. I hope something happens for you. I do hope something happens for you. Trevor says, big up K-Mag for a second. Listen, Kevin Magnussen, people, huh? Let's talk it. Kevin Magnussen, yeah? What was he, 2/10 off Lando Norris as well? Like Kevin Magnussen, man. You got to understand, this is a guy who, I think, what was it, a week before? Let's say a Barcelona testing was not even a thought in anyone's brain. You know what I'm saying? Kevin who? Like, you weren't thinking about him at all. Even all those those people that love Kevin Magnussen, right? Even if he was a big fan of Kevin Magnussen, you're not thinking about him. All of a sudden, my man comes out the blocks, and here we go. Kevin Magnussen, man, what an absolute G. Second row, 4th place. How well do you think he can do? Comment down below. Where do you think he could finish in the sprint race? That will be very interesting. That will be very, very interesting. It will be very, very telling. I wonder where he will end up at the sprint race. That will be very fun to see. But yeah, big up to Kevin Magnussen. No little mean feat here. He done absolutely phenomenal. Big up to Kevin Magnussen. Yes, circumstances. We can do all that. But at the end of the day, he put the car there. P4, a Haas on the second row of the grid. And Imola's hard to overtake. So there could be some good points there. Big up to everybody that's watching the video right now. Please do me a favor and smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like Formula One content. I do Formula One content of all kinds, of all varieties, news, reviews, previews, the full lot, right? And McLaren Fan TV, if you're a big-hearted McLaren fan, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. after the race weekend. Big up to Zlee or ZCLE2445. I just fear that Carlos will be shafted to second driver status with performances like this. And you have every reason to fear. You've got every reason to fear with that, because Carlos has got to get his finger out very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. He's got to get himself on track, on board here. Because before you know it, like, let's say Charles wins the race this weekend, right? Let's say he wins the sprint and wins the race. So he's gonna get extra points and fastest lap, whatever, right? How much further will that leave him ahead? How much further will Carlos be behind Charles Leclerc? It could be ridiculous. And I think they'll pull the trigger. I genuinely think they should. So, yeah, you can fear it. Carlos needs to do something. Carlos needs to do something in these next 3 races, and I mean something of substantial, Otherwise, he will become Valtteri Bottas. He will become Kimi Räikkönen when he was at Ferrari. It's as simple as that. This is, and it's funny, just after they've given him a new contract. Weird. Very, very weird. Jay says something is going on behind the scenes, I think. So it's strange to give him an extension. Yeah, it is strange to give him an extension. I don't know what's going on there. I wonder why they gave him an extension. What was were they in a rush? Was there any need? Why? And my thing is, right, if you're going to give him an extension, no problem, right? But then the day before this, come on, That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. You don't need that in terms of in preparation for a race weekend in Italy. It's going to be on. Like, we talk about Monza and we think, yeah, Monza, Italy's home, boom, 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 and rightly so. But you know what's funny? Ferrari's factory and whatever else, isn't it closer to Imola? Isn't Imola like legit the home of Ferrari? It just didn't add up to me. Didn't really add up to me. ZCLE2445 says, I still think they're fantasizing about promoting young Schumi, but they are not convinced with his performance yet. Have Carlos till then. Yeah, what do you think, guys? Are Ferrari like sentiment sort of team, or are they serious? Are they very much like, no, let's get down to business here? Who's going to be the best driver to win us races, to win us championships and constructors, right? Or are they very much like, as you're stating there, they're very much, in the, wouldn't it be lovely? The son of Michael, one of our great champions, one of our, greatest ever. I wonder if they will, Mattia Binotto doesn't strike me as that guy of sentiment. He's a very much like, I feel like he's cutthroat. I mean, they got rid of Seb, right? Now, don't get me wrong, say what you want about Seb, but, another German world champion, it kind of, they maybe they fantasized about it, right? And maybe it was Arriva Bene's idea, right? So maybe he would have been more so like that kind of guy. But at the same time, I'm thinking, what if it's not the case? I don't know. It's one of those. Are they serious more so this time round? Is this the kind of Ferrari we need to get used to? I wonder. It continues to say Ferrari is definitely serious and rational, but oh my, you can't turn down the idea of Schumi at Ferrari. Yeah, it's difficult. No, it's very difficult. I totally agree with you there. Imagine. I mean, just like when Schumi came back, right? When when Mick Schumacher joined Formula One, and the idea of the the MC and the MSC as his like abbreviation, just little things like that. It hit me in the feel spot. I can't lie, it did hit me. I was like, oh, this we could be onto something here. But how long can they play that game for? I think they like the idea. They want that to be the case. But I think if he does not perform, and what is not performing, I don't know. Is it embarrassing that Magnussen is doing better than him? What are your thoughts, guys? Because Mick's had a year under his belt. Magnussen's been away for a year, and I know Magnussen's definitely got more experience, but of course, brand new regs. What if you were a Haas fan, who would you have expected to finish higher this season? K-Mag or Mick Schumacher? My money would have been on Mick Schumacher, just out of the fact that there's been no experience from Mag for a year. Jay Starship says, I thought McLaren wasn't good in the slow corner track. Well, here we are. Is it because we're good at getting out in the wet? I wonder if the wet played a part today. I do wonder. I would love to have seen how we perform when it's dry. Maybe we are good maybe we're not so good in the slow corners. I have to wait and see. I have to ask Mahad on Tuesday, and we'll find out. We have to ask that question. It's a brilliant question, because it's just a bit like, I don't even know quite in particular what McLaren have actually done. Sort of, have a good Friday night, for example. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe they might be. If it's dry tomorrow and they get absolutely rinsed, then it's curtains. It's curtains for us. Heartstar says, do you believe Lando when he said he had more in the tank in quali? He's downplaying in every interview. Sorry, I must repeat that again. He's downplaying in every interview, but then all of a sudden there's more in the tank. We were having this discussion, a couple of the last McLaren Fan TV show, right? We were having this discussion about, Lando doesn't seem to give off much. And then sometimes we then see him do something and we're like, wait a minute, what's going on? He is somebody who seems to be, let me measure let me not overhype anything. Let me kind of play it down. Let's see how we get on, because he kind of knows, like, he knows the sins in the McLaren car, right? He kind of knows it well. Remember in practice, or testing rather, I think it was in Barcelona, where they were, P1, they were topping the charts. And he was like, this is not good. And it was like, wait, what? Why is it not good? And then we come to realize, when we got to, Bahrain, and it was just an absolute horror show. We didn't want to look. We couldn't even look anymore. I don't know. I think Norris is naturally, is pessimistic the word? More skeptical. He doesn't necessarily believe it all. But then at the same time, now he's saying that he thinks there's more. Again, he would know that. He would know that he hasn't done his best time yet. And yet he's P3. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very difficult one. Lando's not easy to read in that sense. But I think he's just more so measured. He takes his time with it. He's a bit more composed. And then from there, whatever's sort of produced, he tries to not get himself too disappointed. That's what it seems like. ZCL says McLaren and Alpine might fight out for third in the constructors if Mercedes starts slipping. Wow. If Mercedes, right? Now, let's bear this in mind. Let's pump the brakes, okay? They're P2 right now in the constructors. Mercedes, right? As awful as they look, they are second in the constructors. Now, would I bite your hand off for P3 right now at this second as a McLaren man? You're damn right I would. But if they're fighting, what are we saying? Mercedes fifth in the constructors? I don't know. I don't know. I think they'll still be top three. I genuinely think they'll be top two. But what am I smoking, right? But listen, if they start slipping, and the Alpine and the McLaren start fighting for that third spot, happy days. Happy days indeed. Big up to Jay Starship. Please do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. If you like Formula One content, if you want to talk about Formula One, if you want to have more conversations like this, more live streams, smash the like button, please, so that at least we can get the video to more people that might enjoy this sort of stuff. And we'll keep doing this. We'll keep going. We'll keep cracking on. ZCLE24. I need to find an easier name. But anyway, fine. Let's go with it. Ferrari is definitely serious and rational. Yes, I've read this comment already before. Yeah, let's see if they will stick to it. I wonder if they will. And how long can they fantasize about that dream? I genuinely don't know. Trevor says if Ferrari have already put Carlos as number 2, they might give Mick a shot, knowing they still got Charles. Yes, that is true. That is true. Yeah, it could be the case. If they're looking at Carlos thinking, do you know what? Because what's his contract till? Is it 2024? If it's the case, then maybe it's a case of, you know what? Nah, we ain't got to waste time with this guy. We don't have to waste any time with this guy. We can put Charles as the main man. He's the champion. He's going to be winning us titles for years to come, right? And then they bring Mick Schumacher over, learn the trade, learn your way in Ferrari, learn how to become a Ferrari man, and then off they go. Off they go to the races. Imagine race 3, race 4, and we're making Carlos Sainz second driver. Howler. Trevor says Mick's had a lot of tough luck. He did beat K-Mag in Australia. Yes, he did. And I agree with you there. I think he has had a bit of tough luck, to be fair. It was such a surprise to just see the Haas doing so well, and we were all just happy to see Haas do well, right? And then a part of me was like, I'm all gassed for K-Mag doing what he's doing. Magnussen's doing his thing. And then it made me think, well, hang on a minute. Well, what does this leave for Mick Schumacher then? What's going on? Should we not be putting those standards to Mick Schumacher just a little bit, just a tad? I don't know. But yes, let's see how he gets on, because Mick Schumacher qualified, I think it was at P12 today. So, different kind of fortunes for the two drivers in today's qualifying. Let's see how they get on with the sprint. Jay Starship says it was cooler today, right? And in Australia, right? So maybe, might be mistaken. I think it was definitely cooler. Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a lot cooler. So who knows what that could mean. Big up to Mike Smulders. What's happening? Wagwan, my friend. Wagwan G. Hope you are well, Michael. Hope you're good. Hope you're doing well. Do me a favor, Michael. Comment down below. What were your thoughts on the qualifying today? Let me know who's your team, who's your driver, what are you thinking ahead of to the sprint race tomorrow. ZCL says, defo they would more likely be in the top 3, but oh dear, have I been waiting for Mercedes downfall? 7 years. Huh? You've been waiting for the downfall of Mercedes. Let me tell you something, right? I'm not anti-Mercedes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-Mercedes, right? But man, I'm with you. Like, see him, Max won the title in some obscure, ridiculous circumstances last year. And it was not, it wasn't right at the end of the day. But boy, was I sitting there like, about time somebody else took this off Mercedes a little bit, you know what I mean? Because even when Hamilton didn't win, it was like Rosberg. And it was like, for flip's sake, And yeah, I don't like domination in terms of, teams, especially when it's not my team, right? If it's my team, hey, whatever, like singing to the cows come home. But yeah. And it looks like, another year. It looks like it's going to be another year, almost definitely another year, that they will not win the Drivers' Championship. But also, they will not win the Constructors' Championship this year. They can't. I tell you what, guys, if Mercedes win the Constructors' Championship at the end of the season, somebody needs to pull up this video, because I will be like, this cannot have happened. It can't happen. If it does happen, we have to quit the sport altogether, don't we? Spike says, Lewis almost went out in Q1 today. That was not something I expected to see. The Mercedes, what were they struggling with in Q1? Because it took them a while to get out of there, didn't it? It took them a while. Q1, obviously, just kind of bringing back memories now. Alex Albon and his brakes. What on earth was going on there? The fire was going. I was thinking, why is he still going? He needs to stop that car. Stop the car. And maybe the whole point, the irony is, his brakes are gone, right? So he can't stop the car. Maybe that's what it is, right? But I was a bit like, yo, dude, what's going on? Get out of that car now. But yeah, Q1 was the whole thing was an absolute mare. But yeah, both Williams getting out, both Williams, both Alpha Tauris, Esteban Ocon, man, not having the greatest of luck, has he? Even with Australia and now this, and to go out into Q1, the Alpine in Q1, comment made earlier, maybe Alpine and McLaren could fight for P3 in the Constructors, but dude, we need to be getting out of Q1, okay? Sebastian Vettel got into Q3. Yeah, let's just bear that in mind. But yeah, you're right, Spike. Lewis almost going out in Q1. Even, going out in Q2, I didn't expect that. When I see them struggling through Q1, I was like, what is going on? What seems to be happening? And you can see Toto Wolff and Lewis having convo afterwards, trying to, you could almost feel like, what are they trying to, what is going on? How can we solve this problem? Man, it's going to take something. It's going to have to take something. Jay Starship says, I wonder if McLaren is good when it's cooler. It could be the case. Barcelona, they were nice. Bahrain, it was intense. Saudi Arabia, I guess, was probably still a bit warm, and it wasn't, it was okay. It was okay. But then double points finish, of course, in Australia. So maybe so. Where are we going to after this? Is it Miami? Oh, it could be a bit bleak. It could be bleak. Who knows? But yeah, I wonder if it is that. Mick has caused his own tough luck. LOL. That's a bit harsh. Mick Schumacher causing his own tough luck there. Hardstar says, you may have discussed this before, but I think us as McLaren fans know that Danny will be leaving McLaren soon. Who can you see replacing him? We haven't actually discussed this too tough, to be fair. When you say soon, it depends. How soon are we talking? Do we think he's got, 2 years maybe, or a year? And if it comes to who should replace him, I mean, right now, do you know what? I'd actually fancy, like, if he's not got a seat by then, I'd still fancy like Oscar Piastri type of thing. I'd actually fancy that. And or maybe, and it might be going down the wrong road here, but maybe a Seb Vettel. Maybe. Because if the McLaren is getting better and better and better over time, at least, have some experience, get a bit of experience in there. Or by then, Lando Norris would have been advanced, at McLaren, which is why I'm feeling the Oscar Piastri kind of vibe, right? People are talking Gasly, and I'm not so sure. You would have said K-Mag, he's been there, done that. I don't know, man. It's a tough one, but I go Piastri and Vettel. Those are my two that I'm sort of like thinking about. Let me put it that way. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. Let me know what you think I would start. And anybody else, if Danny Ricciardo say he left tomorrow, who would you have replacing him? Spike says, I've been waiting for Merc downfall myself. Seems like far too long too. Yeah, I think a lot of us here are sort of like, you know what? Nobody hates for our Mercedes, sorry, but it's a bit like, come on. All right, Mercedes, enough. It's like the Red Bull days, right? Red Bull, man. So friggin' frustrating. I wanted them to, just to crash and burn, right? But my goodness, that was hard to watch. because it was just like Vettel again. And it almost seemed like there was nothing special about him as well. That's what was worse. At least with Hamilton and stuff like that, and even that battle that he had with Rosberg, and of course the battle with Verstappen, I can appreciate like some top quality drivers, some top quality racing, right? But man, it was just it's the dominance is far too long. I'm not a big fan on it. Jay Starship says, what do you as McLaren fans think of the drivers in the team? It seems like they're favoring Lando, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know, at the moment, I think there is still a bit of balance. Of course, Lando comes with experience in terms of being at the team longer, and he's just showing that. I think his performances are just showing how more experienced, how more seasoned he is. You bear in mind this Lando Norris when he first joined in, and I think was he with Fernando Alonso even when he first came, and then obviously with Carlos Sainz. This is a man who has grown leaps and bounds, man. He's so, in my opinion, like I know F1 Twitter, right, mental place, right, and the Lando Norris fans can be absolutely crazy, but I kind of think he's underrated at the same time, especially more so mainstream media maybe, or I just don't feel like they speak about him enough. And as a British guy, I was thinking maybe that, I would have thought he would have been absolutely praised to the hills type of thing. And I don't think George Russell gets more love than Lando. I won't go that far, but George Russell seems to be more talked of, in my opinion, than a Lando Norris. Yet what Norris does in that McLaren, guys, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely brilliant. So I like both the drivers, and what I'm happy about this year, Jay Starship, is that Ricciardo looks to have improved. So over the course of the season, we'll see. We'll start to learn a little bit more how much better is what are the team dynamics? How does Zach Brown view both the two drivers? How does Seidel sort of look at the two drivers as well? It's a good team right now, and I don't want anything to kind of break it yet. I think they're kind of building. They're building a little bit there. And I think there's going to be some what we saw last year and this year. What we're going to see this year is a lot of foundation building, and then after that, on that platform, then they're off. They're off to the races to see kind of what happens next. But I'm very happy with the team. Like I was gutted when Carlos Sainz was leaving. I was very upset. So excuse me. I was very upset when Carlos Sainz left because I was like, man, just we had a couple of years together. Now we're getting in our groove, and then it kind of broke up. And so even the thought of like, excuse me, a Danny Ricciardo leaving, it kind of makes me think, no, I don't want that to happen now because we've got a rhythm going. We've got something going on here. So as a McLaren fan myself, I am happy with both drivers, provided Danny Ricciardo still keeps progressing. And bear this in mind, he won a race last year. As awful as his year was last year, he won a race, so it probably wasn't that bad. But we want to see progression. I need to see McLaren win races this year. Give me 2 races, McLaren. I'm asking. 2 races, if you can, So I don't know. I don't necessarily think they're favoring Lando. I wouldn't go with that. I wouldn't go there. But McLaren fans, Formula One fans, comment down below. Answer Jay Starship's question for us. Big up to everybody that's watching the video right now. Please do smash the like button. You lot are absolute legends. Thank you to each and every single one of you. ZCLE says, I'm more disappointed in Williams still being at the back of the grid. Such a good opportunity for them to progress, but nothing substantial. Absolutely. I couldn't disagree with you more. I genuinely think that, I thought, especially from Josh Capito, right? He comes across as like a hard guy in Drive to Survive, right? And since he came in, this is a man who's won his rally championships, right? He's been in teams that have won titles. And I'm thinking, yeah, he's about to bring that mentality. That mentality is going to come back, right? And yeah, it kind of flattered to deceive. But I think more so with Williams' problems, it's exposing Latifi a lot more as well. So it's almost like they can't play around. And I know Latifi kind of brings money to the game, but they've got to change that. They've got to do something about it, in my opinion. I don't want to see anybody lose their job. Don't get me wrong. But Latifi is not the man for that Williams car. I think we can all agree, right? Alex Albon, let's see how you get on. We're here to see Alex Albon, no problems. But as for Nicholas Latifi, I feel like, man, he's wasting opportunity there. He's wasted opportunity there. And, it is disappointing. I'm very disappointed in Williams. They're at the back of the grid. Why are they at the back of the grid? So Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one there, man. I'm gutted about Williams. Harstar says, been following McLaren for 11 years. I've watched Red Bull and Merc dominate, and my thought has always been, if they're the best, then they're the best, right? If the MCL have 4 dominant years, it's because we earned it. Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, when it's your team, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna lap it up, you're gonna love it, and you have to just rate the sheer dominance and how good these other teams are. If you can win titles 4 years running, if you can win titles 5 years, 6 years running, first of all, you got the regulations spot on, and then all you did was go to, you know, you rid off into the sunset. Because teams like Ferrari, right, ain't they the ones that spend the most money? Ain't they the ones with the biggest budgets, right? So you would assume that they would be winning constructors and titles every year, but it doesn't quite work like that. You've got to have the right people, you've got to have the right brains in there. Everything has to kind of align. And if you get it right, you struck well, you know. Will it take a bit of luck? It might do in the beginning, but afterwards, to sustain that, hats off. You can't ever complain about that. Harsar says, as did Red Bull and Merc for their dominant years. Yeah, they definitely earned it. There's no doubt about it. There's no way we're sitting there thinking these men are cheaters, you know, they slide, they did something. We can't go out there and say that, can we? We definitely can't. Trevor says, that brake blow up was a shame for Albon. He's definitely outperformed Latifi. Oh my God, he's whipping that candy ass. He is beating Latifi like it's nothing. And this is another guy who wasn't in Formula One for a year. You know what I mean? So like, it's almost like it doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense, Latifi. Make it make sense, you know? So yeah, let's see what happens to Williams. I really want him to do well. I'm really in Drive to Survive season 4. Honestly, Jos Capito grabbed me, and I was like, "Yeah, I like this guy. I want to see Williams do well again." Did they say why Bottas was asked to stop in qualifying? I don't know. So from where I watched it from, it was like, you know, volume wasn't quite so high. I watched it in the office. I was watching it at work. I just see that he just pulled up to the side. I guess there's an engine problem. I'm guessing they're trying to save the engine. I haven't heard anything specific or necessarily, you know, sort of groundbreaking news on it. So we'll see on that. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Also, what is everyone's thoughts of drivers who crash and hinder others from continuing qualifying, keeping their initial qualifying position? Hope that makes sense. Totally understand what you're saying there. You know, there's been argument made. I think WTF1, what's my man's name? Is it Matt? Can't remember his name. But anyway, he put out a tweet saying, listen, if you're the cause of a red flag and you're causing everybody else's pit stops to be, lap times to be aborted, surely your lap time gets aborted as well. And you know, I don't know. I don't think they should, because it's a different lap, isn't it? It's a different situation. It's a completely different circumstance. It wouldn't be fair. But this idea of binning with however many seconds there was to go when Lando sort of ditched it, you know, what can be the compromise for that, right? I don't know. It's genuinely a tough question. I genuinely don't know. Should they be penalized? What are your thoughts in the comment section below? I'm stuck on that one, because I'm thinking back to, of course, I think Schumacher did it 1 year, and then of course Leclerc did it last year. It's one of those, man. Every case has to be taken into account, and I just wonder whether the FIA just have to sort of look at it and just get the stewards on there to have a look and see, do you know what? We need to do something. Well, he's saying that because he's a Leclerc fanboy. Okay, so Matt from WTF1 is a Leclerc guy, right? Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, because do you remember his one at Monaco? And then in the end, the car actually just did not go. So what should be the penalty for that? It's a good question. You know, should everyone's, yeah, if you hinder, or why can't we just sort of almost let everybody go again? You know what I mean? Like, everyone get their go. And also, I don't know about you guys, in qualifying, since it's qualifying, why can't we just let everybody have one moment by itself? You know what I mean? Like, Fernando Alonso, off you go. Here's your out lap. There's your fast lap. And in the pit you go. Did you catch my drift? It might take forever, don't get me wrong, but I feel like just let everyone have their piece, let everyone have a slice of the cake. Because this idea, even, like when the restart, the last red flag, or second to last rather, because the last one obviously ended the session, but the second to last red flag, when everybody was sort of like queuing up, and then, you got mind games with Verstappen and Leclerc, you're thinking, come on, like, I don't want no shenanigans. I want to see the fastest car do the fastest lap, and we crack on to the race. Leave the drama for the race. I don't need drama in qualifying in that sense. Traffic. I freaking hate traffic in qualifying. It does my nut in, because all it does is just it hinders one, it hinders the other, it hinders both of you, and now I don't really get to get a real raw lap from yours. And even just the whole yellow flag thing, simply because when I saw was it Verstappen doing a hot lap, I saw somebody else doing a very good lap, and then the yellow flag comes out, and of course they had to lift, and it was just like, ugh, come on, Also, he must have forgot about Monaco. I know, innit? I bet he did. I bet Matt did. Trevor says Oscar Piastri takes Latifi's seat next year. Great shout. Definitely, that will probably be the bookies' favorite, maybe. But I don't want him there. I don't want him in that car if that car is going to be what it is. Let's not kill Piastri. You get some drivers who are talented, they're very good, and they're just being wasted in rubbish cars, right? And you just sort of think, man, if they had the right car, we would see more from them, right? I don't want to see Piastri in a Williams. I want to see Piastri in Formula One, but I don't want to see him in a Williams, because that would be heartbreaking. It will be hard, because you know how it will go. It won't go too well. I mean, the fact that he can't find a seat, how many times has he been champion now? Is it 3 years in a row in F2? Oh, and he battered F3 as well, right? Like, how can this be the case that he's not getting, a seat in Formula One all these years, and then I give him a Williams, this Williams as well? Honestly, I wouldn't want to do that to him. But you're probably spot on, Trevor. I think there's going to be definitely a good shout. That's a good shout. I've been thinking that. Is it the qualifying or about Piastri to Latifi? Let me know below. Trevor says NASCAR used to do qualifying like that. The system F1 has got definitely adds more drama. Yeah, it does. And maybe it's all about the entertainment factor, but it kills it kills the problem. It kills the sport a little bit, in my opinion. Because how many times, I keep getting frustrated seeing all these cars, like there's 10 cars on track at the same time. And it's like, everyone wants to get their little gap. Everybody wants to, and you saw the cluster we had with Stroll and Latifi last week, right? We're letting one car go, but it was just unnecessary. We don't need that. But yes, it adds drama. Leave the drama to the race. Let's have some drama in the race, no problem. Spike says, yes, bring back single run quali. 2 attempts, single car. Thank you. That's what I'm after, Spike. That's what I'm after. If we could get that back, then happy days. You get your one shot and off you go. Jay Starship says there's many. They may complain about the track getting better as the day goes on, and yeah, there's that as well. So let's do it this way. Whatever the last race, however you finished in the last race, from 1st to 20th, that's the order you go out in. Make sense? So like the person who finished first, they start, they do their lap time first, if that makes sense. And then as the track goes better, Latifi gets the greenest track you can find, right? So let's do that and let's see what happens. And it will cause complaints. It will be treated as unfair, but we've got to do something, because it's still unfair that people are getting in each other's way. Trevor says, if you had to ditch one of the Alpine drivers for Oscar, who would you want to bin? Oh, that is a difficult question. That is such a hard question. Because let me tell you something right now, Trevor. The love I have for Alonso, it's unmatched. But Esteban Ocon, though, another driver that does not get the respect he deserves, I don't think. Young guy. I mean, not so young. I think he's 25 now. We did a video on him actually the other day. Is he, why is he underrated? Is Esteban Ocon underrated? I think he is. You can't lose Esteban Ocon in Formula One. It almost defeats the purpose. It will add what's wrong with Formula One if we got rid of Esteban Ocon, right? Now, maybe he goes into the Williams. Again, the Williams, Ocon and the Williams, wasted talent. Ocon for me is good talent. Very, very good talent. And I think if he's got the right car, he can pull it out. He can do some stuff. He's definitely going to smash his points record this year that he's ever done in Formula One. So why would we want to harper with that? Why would we want to kill any of that? Trevor, that's a horrible question. It's a horrible question. Just because I think for Lando, Alonso, yes, he's older, but I just think there's just a little bit more left in the tank. There's a little bit more. Like, even, you know, his lap time in Australia when he did that quali and it shunted in the end, like he was blitzing that car, right? It proved to me that, yes, he does have that little bit of juice right at the end. It's almost like it's the guy you don't want to let go of. And I know when people say, you know, he's old, man, let him go, let's move on. But he's no Kimi Räikkönen. You know, he's not one of these guys that are sort of just like, yeah, I'll take the paycheck. Alonso is trying. He's really trying, and he's frustrated when the car's not good. So I would say, if I had to choose, gun to my head, Ocon goes. If I had to, Ocon has to go. Sorry, Ocon. Sorry, Esteban. I do like you, man. I do. Spike says, F1 used to qualify like that for a brief time in the late 90s. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It was good. You know what I mean? It was cool. But again, people moaned about entertainment. That's what happened, Jay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Spike. You know, that happened, and it was like everybody, I think, waited till the very end, wasn't it? It was right at the end, and they went and done their time. I think you had quality was an hour long. Everybody waited till the end. So you imagine you're a person that's gone to visit the race. They're disappointed because no car comes out for like 45 minutes. I don't know, man. I don't know how they're going to solve this. So overall, what are your thoughts on qualifying? I found it wasteful. Like I said at the top of the show, Jay, that I was like, thank God it's over. You know, and I should never be saying that. I should never be wanting a qualifying session to be done. The red flags were really ticking me off. And at first, you know, when I looked at it, oh, the rain's there, and you know, this, that, and the other, I saw practice. I thought, oh, here we go. Let's get into it. But they had red flags coming out of everywhere. You know, they had red flags coming out of everywhere. And to think, yeah, Jay, you caught it at Q3, mate. You should have seen the first lot. You know, we had 5 red flags in the entire session. 5 red flags. But if I said to you, you know, Norris, row 2, Magnussen, second row of the grid, Alonso P5, Ricciardo P6, you know, Bottas again in the top 10, Vettel in the top 10, you know, these are things that are happening. You know, both Mercedes out in Q2. It kind of brought up a little bit of spice. Ocon, you know, going out in Q1, he's 19th. So it has its thing. It wasn't all out wasteful, in my opinion. I just think we got to the end, and it was like, oh, you know, I'm tired, you know. So yeah, I was relieved when it was done. When that last red flag came, I said, I've done this, forget this, I'm out of here, let's go, you know. And then even they were like, yeah, we're gonna bin this session. I think there's only seconds to go, like 20 seconds or whatever. So overall, though, I think qualifying, you know, it was okay, but it went on for too long with not a lot happening. I think that was more so what we're upset about. It's the amount of, you know, we probably spent more time not running than we did run. You know what I mean? So that's what it felt like to me. It was a long one. Spike says, I'm going to leave this one as the last comment. Get your last comments in right now before I come out of the stream. But Spike says it was a mixture of entertainment and drivers whining. All could be fixed if it was run exactly as you described, with maybe a couple of tweaks. Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. You're going to have people moaning and whinging about it all the time. And you just think, you know what? Like, just pack it in, all of you. Here's the format. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure it's entertaining, because we still want to see, oh my God, who's going to do the best time. But at the same time, you know, it's clear for everybody to do. You know, no excuses, no shenanigans. That's what we all want. But yes, big up to Jay Starship. Thank you so much to all of you guys. You guys don't understand how much I appreciate each and every single one of you. Do me a favor, smash the like button, and any comments you leave, believe me, I will respond to all comments. No matter what the comments are, I love to just hear what you guys have to say. And you know, hopefully one day we can all meet up and do like a, you know, maybe like a live podcast one day somewhere in the future. I don't know, but do me a favor, spread the word as well. People that love Formula One, let's get them involved. People that are trying to get into Formula One, let's get them involved as well. It's all about, you know, the love of the sport. This is why we do what we do. This is why I come on here, because I want to talk about a sport I'm passionate about, and I want to hear other people's comments on what they're passionate about. And it's, you know, we don't have to always agree. I love hearing, you know, from Ferrari fans. I love hearing from Mercedes, Red Bulls, McLarens, Williams, whoever you are, wherever you are across the world. You know, I want to hear from all of you. And honestly, it's a pleasure for me to do this. So thank you so much to everybody who is who's watching the video. Please smash the like button. I'll be back tomorrow evening around 8 p.m. I think I'll do again for the reaction to the sprint race, because I think it's going to be a bit saucy. I'm not going to lie. So let's get your comments on that as well. Let me know what you guys are thinking ahead of it. Quickly before we go, what's your predictions? Who's winning the sprint race? When I look at the sort of starting grid right now, I do think the top 3 will remain. I'm hoping, right? Because I'm hoping for Norris's sake. But Verstappen P1, Leclerc P2, Norris P3. I'm hoping at least them 3 can stay there, right? You know, because you're saying Leclerc to win it. I don't want Ferrari winning again. Okay, we need to mix it up. Let's mix it up. You know, Magnussen Alonso. I'm wondering what that battle's going to look like. Perez is sandwiched in there as well. You know, what's Carlos Sainz going to do? Carlos Sainz really needs to step up. My money's on Max Verstappen to win the sprint race. I said in my preview show this morning that he's going to do the 3P. I think he's going to do the sprint, so the quali, the sprint, and the race as well, and probably fastest lap and all sorts. But the Magnussen, Alonso, Norris, Ricciardo, that is going to be unbelievable to watch. I'm looking forward to that. Comment below, who is going to win the sprint race tomorrow afternoon rather. I'll be back in the evening for sure. And wait, what happened to Perez? P7. So with the red flags, here's the thing as well. Yes, this is the other problem. The red flags flopped a lot of people, by the way. So some of these grid positions is purely on the fact that some people just weren't able to get enough running time, weren't able to get into optimum temperatures and absolutely give it their best. So when you're seeing even Perez absolutely got rinsed by the flags. And it was a case of, you know, when you're looking at Norris, Magnussen, Alonso, these are people who did times early. And so when you're sort of trying to wait till the end to sort of do something, same thing with the Mercedes a little bit as well. I'd say that, you know, even with the Ferraris, they wanted to do some good quality times towards the end, but then it was one thing after another, one flag after the other. It was so interrupted throughout the entire session. Do me a favor, Jay, just go back and watch the highlights at least, because I'm sure you'll get enough footage on that. It was just a bit start, stop, start, stop. Nobody really got into the rhythm. And if you were lucky to get that quick lap in, I think Magnussen did it. Magnussen did a lap where it was like, bang, I think it was like P2 or P3. And then obviously as time went on, he just slid down and that was it. And he stayed there because of red flags and because people couldn't really get underway. So that's what happened to Perez, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see. You know, Bottas is there. You know, Bottas finished in, you know, qualifies P8 and he had to leave the car. You know, he left the car where it was and he was P8. So that's what happened to Sergio Perez, long story short. And that's what happened to most of the drivers, to be fair, in terms of people that just didn't get going. You know, Lance Stroll, P15, the 2 Alpha Tauris, God knows what was going on there. You know, Guan Yu Zhou as well, or Zhou Guan Yu rather, you know, again, P14, a bit of a weird one when you consider Bottas was in the top 10. So that's what really happened. But guys, thank you very much for locking in today. I really do appreciate all of you. We'll be back here tomorrow. Sprint race action. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be absolutely peak. Do me a favor, people. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new and you like Formula One content like this. And spread the word. Spread the word about Formula One content, live streaming, live action. We are here for you and we'll be back tomorrow evening. Peace out.